We've got too much on our hands. We really do. And I just wanted to thank you all for being here. And that's what we have. Next week is going to be really nice. Starting off with Jay Gulanello on Monday. Mike King of Profiling Evil on YouTube. He'll be back on Tuesday. Barbie Rivera on Wednesday. That's going to be a really interesting one. Talking about big pharma in schools. Jay Dyer and Timothy Gordon on with me July 24th. Next Thursday, we're going to be talking about the great schism. The schism between Catholics and Orthodox, and the whole idea of reconciliation, because I see a lot of debate. Theological debates are huge. Everybody, Protestant, Catholic, Orthodox, Muslim, everybody's debating each other these days. It's some of the fastest growing content out there, and I'm not interested in moderating a debate in this respect. I think Jay and Tim are actually going to be on Elijah Schaefer's show some point in August. I have more conversational things to ask them, and I think it should be really fun. It's just things that I have come up with, questions I have after watching their appearances both together and apart and all that. And I'm glad that I brought those two together. I can pat myself on the back. There's a lot of venom gets thrown at everybody's ways. When you start talking about denominational differences and everything else. I'm glad I had a little bit to do with those two becoming friends. Hopefully they stay friends, because the world needs friends. You know what I mean? All right, so that's all we have. Okay, let's get into the grab bag for the night. Let's see here. First one up, ladies and gentlemen, Connie Francis has died. She has died at 87. I read the headlines that things weren't going well for her health-wise, and it's all over. But so I gotta just say, for you guys and gals out there, you can direct all of your condolences to my parents at the September Jamboree. They will be the ones wearing the black veils. So be on the lookout for them there, and you can, all your condolences there. I'll tell you, you're just talking about the end of eras, the end of figures from eras. I've played quite a bit of Connie Francis on this show, and I should have opened up with it tonight. Anyhow, so that's the end of that one anima. And there's something else that came out here. My buddy Mike sent this my way. Apparently, Stranger Things season 5 is it's coming out soon, and they released the episode runtimes today. We got 8 episodes here. 8 episodes here. None of them are 1 hour 55 minutes is the shortest episode. That's episode 3. The last 3 episodes are no shorter than 2.5 hours, with the finale, the series finale, being 3 hours on the nose. That's a whole lot of stuff. That's a movie. Every episode's a movie. I have never watched anything like that before. But that'll happen. That's it. They better just release one of those a week. They better. You've been on board with this for this long. You got to see how it ends. But anyway, that's just incredible right there. That's what we were hoping with Game of Thrones, but we got served one big pile of dog shit after another with Game of Thrones. That last season. Okay, here's another one for you that I thought was funny. I thought it was pretty funny, if you ask me. All right, it is from the New York Post. Jennifer Lopez made a statement. She's declared that she is done with marriage after 4 divorces. I've tried that a few times. She's done with it. It just doesn't work for some reason. She's not looking to say I do ever again. She does after 4 marriages. Has not. Now here's the reason I wanted to bring this up. Because I wonder what marriage is to people like this. Doesn't have to be a celebrity. Obviously, the bigger issue here, the undiagnosed issue here, is her presence in the relationship. It's a much bigger undiagnosed problem. I'm sure everybody brings a little dysfunction to the table, especially when you talk about celebrities marrying celebrities and the kinds of celebrities she hangs out with. But anyone who talks this way, and you've seen it in places other than the newspapers, is really just talking about not wanting to go through the dog and pony show of a wedding ceremony. They're talking about the reception. They're talking about cocktail hour. They're talking about picking out the dresses for all of the bridesmaids. They're talking about the color, bow ties for all the groomsmen. They're talking about the production. They don't want to go through the production anymore. Okay, because as far as weddings go, I mean, that's a lot of planning. That's a lot of planning. And for people who aren't Jennifer Lopez, it's a lot of money. But the actual arrangements, that's nothing. It's all for a it's not a sacrament. It's as sacred as your average college booty call. Like someone who's been married 4, 5, 6 times. What is marriage? That's just dating. You're dating, but you have a much bigger party whenever you make it official. It used to just be you give somebody your Letterman jacket or something like that, and okay, a promise ring, a special whatchamacallit. What do you have around your wrist? A bracelet. I haven't worn a bracelet since I was 5, so I didn't know what the hell it was even called anymore. But that's what I just think it's funny when I see things like this. Oh, we're not getting married anymore. It just doesn't work anymore. Okay, well, we'll not talk about your issues, but I would love to know what you even think marriage is. That's it. I've had enough throwing big parties for relationships that I know are not going to last. That's all it is. Big production to go through, and you have no intention of actually sticking to it. So there's what that's all I have for you right now. We have great stories, crazy stories, anything to take our minds off of the absolute bloodbath that is going on out there in the news. It's all about Epstein. It's all about this increasingly bizarre and disappointing way of messaging, especially just the messaging. And it's more than messaging. It's denials of any idea, any chances of special counsels, denials of one thing or another, and then of course use of language by the president that it's essentially disowning a lot of people. Like, don't need past supporters, don't need you anymore. I don't know. You really want to talk about that for 2 hours? I don't, because everybody else is, and you can find it ad nauseum elsewhere. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun. And I've got plenty here. I want to talk about customer service, where the hell that's all going. I want to talk about I'm glad that this has been coming up a lot lately with other people, because I'm discussing it in my personal life, and it's come up here too in the past, but in minimal ways. But the disappearance of 24-hour America, especially when it comes to diners. Oh, there's so much here. There's so much. And I'm also going to open up an Ask Frankly line, a hotline. Because when I feel like I'm in a spicy mood about one thing or another, I give pretty good advice sometimes. It might even improve your life. You can call in. I'm going to open up the hotline later on. I'll tell you what the number is, because it's not the usual open line. We'll see. Hopefully this Bluetooth connection works tonight and I don't embarrass myself. But let's get to it, shall we? And welcome to our good friends over there at Badlands. It's going to be... The hell was that? It was something. I don't know what the hell it was. Be right back.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's roll!
Hey, all right. All right. Okay, guys and gals, so welcome to the show. It's 7:14. That's nice. That's nice. We talk about love. Talk about love and marriage. And listen, divorces happen, obviously. They're tragic. But when we're talking about serial marriers, we're talking about serial divorcees. That's just something completely different. You want to know two people who will probably be getting divorced? It's these two people who were caught on the Coldplay concert Jumbotron. I know you have seen it, and it is I don't know, man. It's an incredible sight. It really is. To be in this position when you're at a concert. First of all, I don't know why. I don't know how people manage double lives like that, where you have completely different relationships. I'm talking about you're going out on dates, and you're sometimes forming entire families on the side. And these two people are married, and I think they both have kids. And so they're doing a little bit of Jumbotron attention to people that were at the concert the other night. Falls on them, and then this is probably the most watched clip on the internet today. Here you go.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
And you know who the real villain? Well, aside from the two who got caught doing their thing, this one you cannot diminish what kind of a complicit little demon, red-faced demon this one is. She's the I didn't see nothing type of friend. I didn't see nothing. Oh boy. Ooh. That's the I didn't see nothing type of friend. So I don't know. They both are reportedly married. This guy is the reason why it's so because they have pretty prominent jobs. One guy, the guy is a CEO of a AI company, astronomer. And the woman he's with is actually, listen to this, a chief people officer. I said, what the hell is that? I have been nowhere near the corporate world in so long. And it turns out that this is a form of human resource officer. And I guess sometimes people call it chief people, or maybe this is just like the boss, like the final boss of human resources. Well, anyway, this human resource officer was doing her duty as they're tightly embracing there, only to dash out of frame as if they were cartoons. Like they really thought that the Cartoon Disappearance Act was going to work. I don't know. But that will not result in a marriage. In fact, I'm pretty sure that they are no longer going to be seeing each other because the thrill of doing something naughty is completely gone. That's it. The thrill of sneaking around is all gone, and I don't know what else to say about that. What a way of having the rug pulled out. Listen to this one though. You know who would be in your life forever? You know who's never going to give you up? Who's never going to let you down, run around, or desert you? This woman right here. She's been making the rounds again, okay? And I saw her and said, oh, look, this has been making some viral rounds on several platforms the last week or so, but I remember this story, and it's a few years old. Still, listen to this one, okay? She was arrested, I think around 2019. I have the Yahoo article. After texting a man 159,000 times over 10 months after just one date. Just one date. That's about 530 texts a day. Got this from January 2019, so she was arrested in 18, I think. 159,000 texts. At the time, authorities alleged she had sent 65,000 texts after their only date, but police documents made public on Friday show that she sent many more than that. Okay, here are some of the text messages. I'd wear your fascia and the top of your skull and in your hands and your feet, she said. I'd make sushi out of your kidneys and chopsticks out of your hand bones. She also, her previous alleged text also stated, "Oh, what I would do with your blood. I want to bathe in it."
I bet she gives great helmet.
Officers listed her. I mean, she was showing signs of mental illness. I hope that she's still in jail. Because she was actually found inside of the man's home in 2018 taking a bath. She was taking a bath. Just needed to get cleaned off. Anything could have happened. So I knew that this was an older story, but it's going around because every time you see it, you're just like, holy shit, you just remember what kind of fish are in the sea. Now, I don't know why I'm thinking about the hilarious song from the Coasters. My mother used to love singing this song when it came on CBS FM. You remember that song from the Coasters? If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife. It's an insane song. Obviously, I didn't listen to it. I didn't follow its advice. I married a very beautiful woman, and all of you are beautiful as well. But the fact that this got radio play is hilarious. When was the last time you heard that song by the Coasters? When was the last time you heard it? Where the hell is, hold on, YouTube, the Coasters. Here we go. Get an ugly girl to marry you. Listen to this. Personal point of view, get an ugly girl to marry you. If you wanna be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty one for your wife. So from my personal point of view, get an ugly girl to marry you. Now listen to some of these lyrics, man. Listen to some of these lyrics. A pretty woman makes her husband look small and very often causes his downfall. As soon as he marries her, then she starts to do the things that will break his heart. But if you make an ugly woman your wife, you'll be happy for the rest of your life. An ugly woman cooks her meals on time. She'll always give you peace of mind. The best part, oh, you know what? Wait a second. Yes. No. We have to go to the middle part. When like they like see each other in the street, like, hey man. Wait a second. Wait, oh wait. Listen to this. My mother, whenever that would go on the radio, my mother she would sing that part the loudest, especially, man, she's ugly. I can't believe this got radio play, but thank God it did. It's an absolute gem. And I hadn't thought about it in so many years until I was reading this article again. I said, where am I going to put this in? And then all of a sudden I woke up and we had the Jumbotron article. And I was like, boom, this all can make something fit. And then I was thinking about the stalker who won't go away. But I'll tell you one thing. If you need someone to disappear, I'll tell you who you could call. You should probably call Mel Witherspoon, a Democrat city council president for Erie City, Pennsylvania. Are you ready for this shit? He essentially, he admitted to committing murder and getting away with it today. Okay? Now, this is 3 minutes long because he talks as fast as a fart in a doldrum. Because he thinks let me learn you something. Tell you a little story about the fire. It's a little something I can impart onto you. Yeah, I've got war stories. It's stupid. Stupid. Anyway, you got to listen to it.
You didn't see me at the rally, and nor did you see me at the funeral, because it brought some things back to me that I thought was gone. I lost a brother in Jersey City, shot with a double-barrel shotgun, close range. I'm 17. I'm involved with a gang, the largest gang in Newark, New Jersey. I organized. We went over Jersey City looking for the person. Well, when we got there, we didn't realize it was a family. And when you talk Jersey City and you talk family, you're talking the mafia. At the time of my graduation from high school, I had to leave Newark, New Jersey. I had to leave a mom and a dad, or I wouldn't be here today. So I'm living that side.
This is his Ellis Island story.
It was 2 days in Nebraska where I went to school. You can go buy a gun, no paper necessary.
Of course, that's society's fault.
I played football and basketball. And the tackle, good guy, nice guy. And the guys came to my room and we got high. They left. I had the clip in my gun. Nick came in my room. I said, you know, Nick, I can blow your head off. He said, go ahead. And I did.
This is just a football guy in the football team. Am I following correctly? That he's talking about, what are you smoking? Number one, what are you smoking? What industrial waste are you smoking? Number one. Number two, am I going nuts? Didn't he just, this is a member of the football team that just walked in and Mel just said, I can blow your head off. You can go ahead. And then he does it. Isn't that what he just said?
I shot him in the head point blank, this close. I stayed in jail. One night, I never went to court. I went back to basketball. How did that happen? Because I had a family member, one of my uncles. He was involved with one of the families. That family made a call from Newark to New York to Omaha to Nebraska, where I was at, and I was out the next day. See, so that's having the right contact at the right time. My point is,
I'm a retard.
When my son told me about cello, it all came back.
I don't even know who the hell your son is. I don't know who Cello is. Can we all have him arrested right there? I mean, there's no statute of limitations on murder or even attempted murder, I believe. Like, what the fuck was this? To think about the complete lack of brain power, to think that this is an appropriate thing to talk about because, it was so long ago that I killed an innocent person in Omaha and then called up my connected uncle in Newark to get me out. And now here I am. Yeah, but it's all behind me now. Are you fucking kidding me? That is just insane how we are living. How we are living right now is just insane. Just animals. Incredible. Well, we'll see what happens here. I mean, this is a public setting that he's telling this story, and I'm sure there's police in the room that are probably looking at each other like, do we just take him in? He just admitted to murder. So we'll see if there's any headlines coming out of Erie City, Pennsylvania anytime soon, because he just killed somebody for the hell of it. Wasn't even gang related. It's just in his nature, I guess. So there's that. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:29. And here's what I want to do, because I'm just kind of all over the place with my thoughts. I want to open up, first of all, a hotline. I'm going to open up an advice hotline. Ask Frankly. You can call in. There's the hotline, 914-359-4853. Hopefully it works. What the hell do you need advice with? I don't care. Bring something ridiculous to me, and we'll work it out. That'll be a quick exchange. You call in, 914-359-4853. That's the hotline. You want to do advice. And then I want something else to happen. Because I'm sick of national news, even though this was a little bit of local news, John Otter in the Discord had a really good idea today. And here's what he said. He said, how about we have people, because we're so inundated with national news, we never hear about any small town stuff. It's the season of festivals and fairs, as well as all kinds of other kookiness. And as I will say with you guys, I'm pretty disgusted with the whole Epstein thing, and that's the main stuff, that main thing that's out there. I'm pretty disgusted with it all, and I'm checked out. So there are tons of things we can do right now. I would love to hear if anybody that can call in and give us some really incredible or weird, strange, anything that happened recently in your small town. Become a correspondent from your small town. You can call in 914-200-0269. 914-200-0269. That's if you want to do some local news. You can call in on that one. There's also the hotline. You can call in for Ask Frankly. We haven't done that in years. The other thing is this. I spent a lot of time, literally a lot of time today, this afternoon. I spent at least about 2.5 hours wasted, and we'll see how much of a waste it is. I had to get in touch with Spotify somehow, and it just made me reflect on how much I miss the days of customer service. And when I mean customer service, I'm not even talking, like I said this earlier on Twitter today, I'm not even talking about I miss the days of high quality customer service. I'm not even talking about the quality. I'm talking about that there's no one to talk to anymore. And everything is services that we are paying for monthly. I mean, there's just no one to call anymore. You pay monthly for every product you use, it seems, and especially if you use it for business. If it contributes to your business in some way. In this respect, I've had all this issue with Spotify the last couple of days because of music, and I've been trying to get in touch with them for months to say, hey, listen, now that you're like dinging me for copyrighted music, can you help me wipe out the archive just so that everything I upload from here on in will just be parsed up and cut out and sterilized until I can find a way to bring Quite Frankly into a completely royalty-free existence. I don't want to do that. I think it's ridiculous that that any kind of streaming services or social media platforms have not found a better way to monetize for copyright holders, especially when it comes to music. Or because it's only going to increase play. You think about that. You think about what radio stations are paying, ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, and whoever else has popped up along the way in those with the PROs. But everybody's listening to music on the internet. Why not empower people, individuals who have these large audiences to be able to add on as part of your services on one streaming site or another, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, or whatever? Why not? Why not allow a streamer who, especially if you're monetized, you're making money, say, okay, 10% or 5%, 2% of all of your channel's earnings is going toward these PROs, to, these performing rights organizations and stuff. You think that we would be there already. And I've looked for new media licenses a lot. Anyway, trying to get all these thoughts out into a forum, not doing it. All these damn websites have is frequently asked questions. They have forums. Sometimes you can get a ticket system. You get emailed a week later. And then even whether it's the email or these damn chat bots, it's AI. 8 times out of 10, you reduce that fraction to whatever you'd like. It is AI, man. And you just know it because all the conversations are circular. They're incoherent, but they insist that they're real people. That's really what's nuts. insisting that we're real people or avoiding it altogether because they don't want to admit it or they've been programmed not to admit it. So that's what I've been dealing with a lot lately right now. I'm talking about just, come on now. Where the hell is customer service? It's just disappeared. If you have a problem with anything, you can't. There's nothing you can do anymore with that on that front. There's absolutely nothing. So that's what I had on my mind as well. And then it led me to a few other things that are, I think, all related because we're talking about how society is largely changing. And that is the whole idea of 24-hour America, especially when it comes to diners. Now, I've seen people put together some really great presentations on this and articulating a lot of things that many of us are probably feeling, especially since 2020. They're talking about 7-Elevens and, you know, and they're talking about just to be able to go out at night. And there's a lot of things that are going on there. But for me, especially since 2020 with all the lockdowns and shit like that, it has been a complete change in the culture around here with diners. Now, we only have, at least in convenient driving distance to me, we have only one 24-hour diner now. And it used to be a lot more than that. Obviously, you have your gas stations, but, you know, nobody hangs out at gas stations. We used to hang out at Dunkin' Donuts parking lots and FYE and all that. They're all gone, or Dunkin' Donuts does not allow it anymore. There's so many. That's the other thing there, too. Chasing people away. There are no places to just hang out anymore. And that whole adage about nothing good happens after midnight really has seemed to become standard protocol that or an outlook or some kind of policy that is being enforced by not only businesses but the police and whatever kind of security companies that they outsource to. It's nuts. Nothing is open anymore. Have you guys noticed this? Can anybody call in and talk about that as well? We've got the advice line open, but call in on this too. I know because I've been seeing the discussions as well. It's transformed so much. Too many things have been normalized since 2020, and mostly because it changed people's living habits. A lot of things didn't go back. It almost feels, and in some respects, it has gotten a lot less safe at night. A lot less safe at night. Because there's werewolves. These people are werewolves now. The night is worse than the daytime behavior. That's for sure. And there's plenty to see in the daytime. It's an economic thing with the diners. I understand that all the 24-hour diners had to cut it down to about 9:30, 10 o'clock around 2020, 2021, only because there was nobody coming in, and to keep the lights on and to keep the gas stoves burning, to keep everything, the ovens hot, it cost more to stay open. It really did. It cost more to stay open just because nobody was coming in, and you have to pay all those salaries and wages and whatever. So I want to know about that. In fact, I would like to know something else. Is there anybody in this audience, if there's anybody in this audience who lives in a part of the country where it is still 1997, not that you don't have internet access, but I'm talking about where you have a vibrant local culture that hasn't been disrupted by Bolshevism. Your schools are red, white, and blue. Everyone shows up to Saturday night football games at the high school and all that stuff. There's fireworks on 4th of July. There's block parties. There's picturesque downtown. There's bands of children running through the quarter-mile stretches of connected front and backyards and jumping into each other's pools. Does that exist where you are? Call in, please. 253, you're on the air. Who dis? Okay, goodbye. So, thank you for that first person for trying. Oh, here they are again. 253, go ahead.
Hey, Frank, it's Neil, dude.
Neil, it's good.
I didn't realize you picked up. I hung up. I thought it was the answer machine.
It's all right. It's good to hear from you. What's on your mind, Neil?
Oh, man, I was just going to comment real quick. Me and my wife were actually talking about, we're in Seattle. We're not in Seattle, but we're in Washington. And we were talking about it the other day, how it was so crazy when we were kids. We would hang out at, like, Fred Meyer. That's a grocery store out here. So you go to the grocery store and hang out like a Walmart or something.
Yeah.
And we used to not be able to kick it for more than, like, 3 minutes without the cops pulling up. And, you know, obviously you skirt out of there as soon as you can. But nowadays, man, there's so many crackheads and crazy activity, dude. You can do whatever the fuck you want now.
You know, that's the
know what I mean?
crazy
Like,
thing. You can't be in your time hanging around anywhere can't be infringed upon. But now you don't want to go there because you don't want to hang around unstable drug addicts. There's so much of
dude,
that.
It's horrible.
I'll tell you.
You got it, man. It's horrible out here, dude. I don't know. I just want to touch base on that, man. And I had another thing I wanted to hit you up on. I talked to Phil, my brother, a little while ago, and he told me to call you and bring this up on the show. I was wondering, because you remember back when COVID hit and they were like, hey, there's a tip line. If you want to shoot out who's having crazy parties, we'll kick you back some money and this and that. And I'm wondering, like, dude, I just had so I do construction, and my truck just got oversprayed like a motherfucker because these retards were painting outside on the other side of the building. But anyway, they painted over my truck and oversprayed the shit out of it. And I ran up to them. Not one of them, they didn't even have a supervisor on site. There was nobody to talk to that spoke English. And it got me so mad. I called Phil and I told him, I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck is going on around here, but why can't they do the tip line and shoot out a little incentive to get these fuckers out of here, man? You know, like, you want to pay me $1,000? I'll kick you a lot of people that are not supposed to be here right now. I can guarantee that.
Oh, listen, hey, you heard last night. I'll tell you, last night when Jay was in and we were talking about what's going on in New York City, and how, we have to find a way to help people self-deport, and it's a little bit harder than just grabbing anybody you see and assuming that they are one thing or another. You have to have some kind of a process to say, show me the papers. If you can't prove that you're supposed to be here, you got to go. Well, to your point, there are some things that are just so damn obvious. I mean, first of all, ICE would have a field day around my area. Number two, in New York City, there's entire former, luxury tourist attraction hotels that are completely filled with foreign nationals who have been housed, clothed, bathed, and everything else for a couple of years now. They are all still there. I mean, it's just like,
why can't you walk in and snatch them up? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, you can use whatever verbs you'd like, and it would be legit. It would be valid. You can give me all the hurdles you want about how, well, we got to find them. There's got to be a certain process set up. We got to make ourselves legally, cover our ass and all that stuff. Well, you know what? I mean, there's a dozen hotels. There's a dozen hotels and X amount of just old apartment buildings that have been completely commandeered, that private ownership has been forced to sell in many ways because of just the policies of New York City has made it impossible for people to own public, private property and to actually be able to be in control of that property. But they're right there. We know where they are. To your point. And that gets into everything. It gets into everything. When you start seeing, again, the face of a town change where things are more and more published in foreign languages and all of a sudden you need a translator. I mean, that happens. And I'm talking about, that's why I'm asking, is there any parts of the country where this has completely not reached? I'd love to hear about that too. I don't care what it is. Customer service, you name it, call in and give me your 2 cents. Over here on the thread that I had on Twitter, let's see here. Underground Man says, Lewis and Clark had an easier time finding the West Coast than I have trying to find a customer service contact phone number sometimes. They don't exist. They don't exist. You probably pay whatever the hell the service is, anywhere from $11 to $20 a month, and they got nothing for you but an FAQ section and a forum with 2 people on it. Harold Finch says, I was at the cardiologist last Friday. There was a question about one of my prescriptions I couldn't answer. We, the doctor and I, called CVS, even choosing I am a provider option on the phone, and that should get us a live person. It doesn't. It just makes you leave a voicemail. That's on top of terrible service on site in person. This is becoming the norm everywhere. Yeah, it is. King, what do you have to say?
Not King. Leonardo's racist grandpa.
Leonardo's racist grandpa. Go ahead, King. Yes.
I tried calling the advice hotline, but for some reason it wouldn't work for me. I don't know if that's your end or my end.
Well, it should. I have it on. Oh,
I tried. It might be my end, but that's no big deal. So, if you don't mind, sir, the advice hotline is what I wanted to call for.
Okay.
And I need your advice. Okay.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, your advice is going to be gospel to me for this. All right.
Oh, great. Okay. Let's do it.
This is very important. So, regarding the event, you've seen what I'm going to wear with my dark brown pants and my light tan, almost peach tan, dark brown shirt. So I'm deciding on what color belt I should wear with my dark brown pants, Frankie. So here are the options. Whatever you say is the belt I'm going to wear. So the color could either be cognac, light brown, tan, or coffee with dark brown pants. Whatever you say is what I'm doing.
Well, with the dark brown pants, I want to know I have to see what the coffee one looks like. If I had brown pants on, I'm going with a black belt. I'm probably going with a black belt. I wouldn't do different. But here's
the thing, though. I understand that, Frankie. I thought about that, but you gotta understand the shirt. You've seen the shirt, so I think
you said peachy. You said it's like
dark brown and that light shirt. The black belt would disappear. I'm trying to accent a little more there.
Okay,
so Go ahead.
You text me the coffee color. I want to see the coffee color first.
I was leaning personally. I will do that behind the scenes. Personally, I was leaning towards cognac, and I'll text you the color of the belts too for you to look at.
Okay, people in the chat room are saying coffee or cognac. They both sound great. I want to see them though. I have to imagine the cognac is going to be a much lighter color.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's what we'll do. After I hang up, I'll text you the different colors of the belts and stuff, and whatever you decide. And even if you do end up saying, "Listen, Santino, I want a black belt," I will do that.
No.
Wouldn't be my preference.
No.
But if that ends up... No. You're the boys. You're the boys.
What are you wearing on... What are your shoes? A couple of people asked the same question, and that was going to be mine too. What shoe color?
I'm wearing black cowboy boots.
Okay. I did see with the black boots. I'd go with a darker. I would go with a darker belt. But I got to see the whole ensemble here.
I'll send it to you later on, and whatever you decide for the belt, even if it does end up being black, that is what I'll do.
Okay. All right. I can't wait to see it. And people are really engaged with this one, so thank you.
Thank you for taking my call, sir.
All right. Take care. What do you guys think about that? The black cowboy boots. If you go with the black, then you have to, it's got to go. Yeah. Everybody's saying then black belt. You got to go with the darker belt. I'm interested to see what the coffee looks like, though, because maybe it's a brown that gets really chocolatey, and it looks more. But then it's the black shoes. I don't know. We'll see. You know what? King is in the YouTube chat right now, and he's going to be able to converse with you guys directly. I think that might actually help him as well. All right, let's go. Let's take another call. 609. We're on the air. Go ahead.
Frankie, what's up, man? It's Adrian from Rise.
Hey, what's going on, Adrian? Rise Attire. I got to play one of your wonderful commercials tonight. I can't wait. So go ahead.
Oh yeah, awesome! Shout out to the Badlands audience.
Indeed.
So when I was watching you talk about this story about this guy, Witherspoon, I started doing some research, and I was like, is this for real? Is this guy telling the truth? And you wouldn't believe what I found, dude.
What? Is it real?
So, yeah. I mean, it's not conclusive here, but like, based on what he said, I determined that he went to the college that he's talking about. It's called Scottsbluff Junior College. It's in Nebraska. And sure enough, he was on like the Sports Hall of Fame, and he played basketball, and he attended the college in 1962. He was a freshman. And I had ChatGPT with like the deep research mode on, like do some searching through all the news archives at the time. And check this out. So it says, I found a contemporaneous report from the Scottsbluff Star-Herald dated August 29th, 1962, about a college-age student shot in the head in the Scottsbluff area. The victim was an 18-year-old from Ashtabula, Ohio, apparently known locally as a college soccer player. According to the report, the incident occurred while he and the shooter, identified only as a 17-year-old freshman, were playing with a firearm, quote unquote, when it discharged and struck the victim in the left side of the face. The victim was hospitalized, remained conscious enough to speak to police and doctors, and survived after being treated.
Incredible.
So I guess this guy survived, and I've got the source.
Yeah, so you can see how this all went away, which makes this even more incredible with this guy's hubris all these years later, as if he, he's been given the right and the immunity to talk as some kind of a seasoned, wise old grandpa that's going to tell everybody a little bit about his war stories and how he was able to turn his life around without paying any of the price for the life he took. What you just read right there, if I'm reading that in 1962, I'm saying this is tragic. What the hell are these kids doing? But it sounds like an accident. They were playing with it. He's sitting in a public setting right now over here this week, probably today, whenever the hell that was, and he's saying, he pretty much told the 18-year-old, I can blow your head off right now. And then what? That's the prompt?
Well,
that's the prompt.
He's the victim, don't you know? He's the victim.
Yeah, because of course you can get he's a victim because you can get a gun out of nowhere. We know that guns are essentially, they're tractor beams. You look at one and you must commit murder.
Yeah, the gun's the real culprit.
Jeez. Anyway, well, Adrian, thank you for that follow-up. We just went a lot deeper, and it made it even worse, to be honest.
Sorry about that.
No. Thanks for the contribution.
It is what it is. I had to share it.
Okay, well, thanks again. And everybody, Adrian is one of the head honchos over there at Rise Attire, which not only is the official Badlands merchandise headquarters, but also Quite Frankly, where remember the Goodfellas shirt, the Me and Matt Goodfellas shirt is out, and Adrian can tell you we have another perfected design that just came in from our good friend Shane B in the chat room over on YouTube. Shane had created the Goodfella design, and we also just put together a fall release that is going to be really badass, and I can't wait to show it to people, but go check it out. Rise Attire, you can find it on the affiliates page on quitefrankly.tv and through Badlands TV as well. So thanks again, Adrian.
You got it, man. Stay based.
Stay based, brother. Be well.
All right.
Okay, so there you go. Good man, that Shane B. He's got a talent. He really does. All right, let's take a call. 504, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, as a Southern gentleman, King's voice to me sounds like a vagina Venus flytrap. That's all I have to say. Dude, at least wear a thong, bro. Speedos went out in the 70s, early 80s. And, come across as a Southern gentleman and you might get laid, bro.
Okay. There you go. Okay, King, do you got that? There's a call. Says that you should get rid of the Speedo and go thong, and you might have a little bit more luck in life. I guess, just in general. I hope King wrote that one down. There is a man in the South who prefers that Santino ditch the Speedo and go thong. There's a man in the South that just gave a preference on that. So chew on that. 914-200-0269. 914-200-0269. You give us a call, and we're going to get to you. 252, you're on the air. Go ahead.
So, Frank's John, North Carolina, man.
John, good to hear from you again. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, I live in a small town in North Carolina, Aden, and it's eastern North Carolina, not too far from a city called Greenville, and it's pretty much got that family vibe to it. We went to another small town for a fireworks display. It was pretty decent, but I don't think anywhere, because I work out in the middle of nowhere out here, and you'll stop at a gas station, dude, and there'll just be a bunch of, I mean, I hate to be that way, but they're probably illegals, dude, and they're all here getting gas, paying everything in cash, just pull out wads of cash, dude, paying for everything, and but I think like the United States is pretty much, there's nowhere where you can get away from that. They're hiding out everywhere.
You think it's gotten to that point already?
Fuck yeah. Yeah, man, I think it has, especially because I've traveled this country everywhere. I've lived in California, Oregon, Colorado, and then out here, South Dakota, all kinds of different places, and I think it's pretty much everywhere.
Okay, so let's leave the immigration issue aside for a second, because I can imagine that being the case. Not only did we take on quite a few million over the last 6 years alone, but prior to that, it's got to be no less than 90 to 100 million people, to be honest. But putting that aside, what about the greater question I asked about is there anywhere in the country where it resembles, it feels like 1997 again, where there's a vibrant local culture that hasn't been upset by deconstructionist mentality and, subjective,
I think like where my wife was living when I met her, she was living in a small town off of Camp Lejeune, which is a Marines base here, huge one of the biggest one in the country. And I feel like if you're in areas like that where it's tight-knit military areas, you get that vibe. Places like that exist in small towns like that here and there for sure. There's definitely small communities. There's no doubting that the American life is still there. But also, I mean, like, we're losing that with our school system. We're losing that with everything, with our kids coming up. I was going to ask you, man, because I've heard you talk about nostalgia and all that. Like, I'm the same age as you, and nostalgia hits pretty hard sometimes, But what are these kids coming up? What are they going to be nostalgic for? Is nostalgia a dying thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got kids that just live on a screen, they don't live life like we did. We were out on the neighborhood. We were out on the town at like 10. Like, I have a 10-year-old stepson, man. He just, all he lives for is screen time, when we try to keep him off it, keep him involved in sports and all that. But when we were kids, dude, you drank from the garden hose. You were told by your grandma or whoever was watching you, your mom or whatever, you made your decision, in or out, and you were out playing with your homies. Now it's like kids don't click up like that. They don't hang out outside of the house. It's just weird. Like, what are these kids going to be like nostalgic towards, and is that going to like affect the American way of life too when they're older?
Those are big questions that we've chewed on before, and I'll talk about it a little bit right now here too. Thanks for the call, John.
Right, man. Yes, sir, man. Have a good one.
Thank you. Okay. Is it safe to say that those types of children, they're not extinct, but are they the way that used to be the rule? Is it now the exception? That's the first question I would ask. Do you guys believe that whereas it used to be the rule, just by merit of how society was set up, what we had at our fingertips? Yeah, we had our gaming systems. They weren't connected to the internet. When we started getting the internet in the mid to late 90s, it was dial-up. It was limited. The instant messaging was cool, but it wasn't cool enough to keep us inside just to talk to each other through a screen. No. Hey, meet me so-and-so. You want to get together, or call me, because the typing was just too slow compared to picking up the phone. So, that's just something there you got to take into account. There's a reason why it's just going to be the other way around. I think that's just why it's the rule. If the internet became popular in 1982, and everything that we are living with today and have been living with since about, I don't know, 2012 or so, was the norm in 1982, what would life in the 90s be like? So it's not about people being different, okay? It's not about people being different, any less human. It's just that when you are brought up in certain environments, you are you're going to be stimulated in certain ways. You're going to be conditioned in certain ways, and it's just a big fork in the road kind of a moment there. So the real question is, that's how I would start off with it. Is it safe to say that it's just the exception now? That there are kids out there that are running around, and not only just running around, because you put on you see the headlines of 100 kids or so jamming up one highway or another with their bikes and just chuckling along, just being, I don't know, like brainless behavior, like to a much bigger degree. There's always flash mobs and kids being goofy and all that shit, but there's strange, degenerate behavior going on, and it's just all very. If you feel like you're just not in the same wavelength at all. I see that. Then again, the adults act that same way too. What does it all mean going forward? That's another story. That's another story, man. I wonder about it a lot. Now, as far as nostalgia and what they're going to be nostalgic about, I don't know. They've got their slangs. Every generation has their slang. This one is a little bit more caveman-like, though. A little bit more caveman-like, the slang. I mean, soon it's just going to be grunts and groans. It's ridiculous. And there are a lot of really funny kids out there. Like the younger ones coming up in the 20s. There's some funny stuff. They got a lot of good timing. And, of course, there's always going to be your shining stars. But I don't know what you're going to be nostalgic about. Because how many times have we dove into comment sections, and there's a lot of people in these Gen Z, and we'll see about Alpha, who are watching old home videos from other people's other generations, saying, "Man, this is a life I know nothing about." I can look back at the 80s and 70s and say, well, life was different back then, but not totally different. The fashion was different, but I still lived most of my childhood, in an era where there was enough commonality between people who grew up in the 70s. Only because what we were being incubated inside was still a lot more analog than digital. And I often say that, we're just not designed as a species for this kind of exposure. The way that people were constantly, and for the first time, they had Facebook in their palms and all that stuff, and everybody just sees a blank text field, and hey, it's asking me what's on my mind. Let me tell the world what's on my mind. Let me spill my mind. We weren't designed for this shit, and a lot of people have gotten to a lot of problems. It creates a public record that you sometimes don't want to look back and defend. You just want it to be a learning moment. We used to have private learning moments, and we're not designed for this kind of exposure. And then you start seeing that was before the computer started talking back to you, and this spiritual psychosis stuff that's going on with the AI and the chat bots and all that stuff, telling you it's going to become a bigger and bigger issue. Bigger and bigger issue. So I want to lay a good foundation for it, because it's big. It's very big. And it's partly because people are so hollowed out from there being such a vapid culture that has been put in place for what we had prior to 9/11, for example. If you just want to talk about broad and go way back, we're a pretty vapid culture. And there's a lot of voids that are about to be filled. What are they going to be nostalgic for? I don't know. They might be nostalgic for times that they never grew up in. It's just golden age thinking, perhaps. Maybe that's it. Other than that, I'll tell you, I think about that every day. What am I going to do? And how am I going to recruit my friends and my family and keep everybody close enough so that all of our children, cousins, everybody are making memories, holidays, just nights out with the family, nights out to an ice cream parlor, whatever the hell it is. How do we get people together and create memories that they can be nostalgic for? I think about that with Aurora all the time. Every so often when my family gets together on a Sunday night, if we're filling time, if it's a little bit earlier in the night, we don't want to start a movie yet. Like, for example, last week and the couple of weeks before, I will put on old family videos. My father will say, hey, put one of the family videos on. Last week, we went to 1993 when my family went to Disney World for the first time. And of course, Aurora, can we go to Disney World one day? And I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. I'd rather go to Universal Studios than Disney World, but aside from that, there's other things that are in those tapes that I look at. I look at kindergarten graduation, which if Aurora went to kindergarten like I did back in 1990 or pre-K like I was in 1989, that was like 5 planet Earths ago. Then next spring, she would be graduating from kindergarten. And I am faced with the task of designing a schedule and a life filled with programs and learning that's going to make her, that she's going to be on teams and in dance troupes and making friends. And she's going to have friends. She's going to have friends just like all of us did growing up, but it's going to have to happen a different way. And just because of where we are. Just because of where we are. So I think about that all the time because I look back at all my graduating classes and I get nostalgic for it. And I want Aurora to feel that way when she thinks about her childhood. And I'm determined that she will feel that way. But that world is so far gone. It's so far gone. The institutions are totally different. Totally different. And they transformed over the course of the last 40 years. They transformed so clandestinely, so in such occult, subtle ways. In a way where it was you were the outcast of your friends groups if you start saying something's wrong, something's going on, or I think that the way that schools are teaching this and that and the other, I think that all of these the shot schedules from the CDC, there's just too much, too fast. And why are we doing this for little things that we used to just get over so quickly and have lifetime immunities for? Where is the logic in all this stuff? And why are people being hamstrung? Why are their arms getting twisted? Why are parents having less and less ability to speak out against what is being mandated by the state? And why is speaking out against the state cause for having you put under the microscope by CPS or something else, where the teachers are co-parenting and they're watching you like a hawk because you may not fall in line with their political worldview, which they believe is not very political at all. It's just a decent thing to do. These are all things that people started seeing subtly. And if you were to point that out maybe about 15 years ago, you're like, oh, I think, don't start with the slippery slope shit. Well, I mean, now what was a subtle smelling of a rat somewhere is there is no mask and it's us versus them. And they are very clearly putting them on the other side of the line that they drew in the sand. So, yeah, you're balancing all that stuff out and still wanting nostalgia to be a real thing. And you want all those golden childhood moments and you have to work harder. You just got to work harder. And you have to make very real in-person connections again. In-person connections, that's it. You're not going to be able to make those memories by just having lifelong relationships of people in certain chat rooms. There's got to be meetups. There's got to be things that are organized. That's why we're doing what we're doing in September and why I want to do more concerts. And I want to see everybody out there, wherever the hell you are. If you're somewhere in the Midwest and you know that there's a whole bunch of people who are watching this show that are out there, man, I would love to hear that people are just doing get-togethers somewhere, even if I can't make it. Whatever the hell it is, Do it. Join a book club in person. It doesn't have to be my book club, whatever the hell it is. Because yeah, childhood is childhood, but if you haven't noticed, adults can be nostalgic for things that were just happening 5 years ago. That's how quick the society changes. That 5, 6, 7 years ago can feel like, wow, bring me back. What a breath of fresh air. Give me all the problems from 7 years ago, please. That's what it can be like sometimes. So nostalgia is not just for kids. We got to build up memories and all that golden stuff for ourselves as well, because it's just, this is our time on Earth. This is our time on Earth. Those are just some thoughts on that. I have more questions. I have more things that coming in here about comments from customer service and everything else. In the second half, I'm going to be putting a little bit of spooky shit into our conversations, because we've got this the story about the paranormal investigator that died, and he was on tour with this very famous Annabelle doll. And there's a lot of theories that the internet is posing, but I want to just talk about it real quick and then get into some of your calls on haunted object stories as well. I've got that in the second half, as well as just general open line. So, and we have one thing here I can't wait to do. Here's an ad for Badlands as we go into the very brief intermission. One that is near and dear to my heart. When Badlands reached out and said, hey, would you mind plugging this? I said yes, and that is Viper bats, baseball bats, American-made, precision-crafted wood bats for athletes of all ages. Viper bats are made for players by players using hand-split maple, birch, and ash billets. Ensure unmatched durability and big league quality. Founded by a father and son with a deep love for baseball, every Viper bat reflects their player-driven passion and expertise. With tons of color options and 45-day warranty on most bats, swing with confidence. Viper bats, crafted for players, built to last, made to love the game. So swing the best wood bats that you got out there. Not only that, first of all, badlandsmedia.tv/bats and use the promo code Badlands15 for 15% off of non-blemished bats. That's badlandsmedia.tv/bats, Badlands15. And I'll tell you one thing, my friends. I'll tell you one thing. Aurora's first bat is a Viper. She's got this neon green Viper that all the kids, that so many kids on her team loved. They all had their own bats, but many of them just kept using hers. I was like, whatever. It was a $20 bat. T-ball. So it's good stuff. I think also Viper, they've got these, I think they sell snake skin or lizard skin bat wraps. And I have used lizard skin on wood bats that I don't have any Viper wood bats. But I do have the lizard skin and all that. They're wonderful wraps. They really are good. So if you got any children out there that are playing ball, or if you do, I would take advantage of the 15% off. So go ahead and check them out. We'll be right back because the calls are flowing in, and I want to take some more of them real quick.
You alien assholes! In the words of my generation, up yours!
Okay. All right, so listen, we got some super chats here, and we'll see how our super chat goal is doing on YouTube. Oh boy, Delona's trying to carry this herself, and that's not fair. To get us a, well, I know that Delona just loves the show, so that I'm sure she would like a little, especially a bonus pop-in stream tomorrow while we're doing all work in here in the studio. But thank you, Delona, and yeah, we're very close to being able to do that. I think we're almost there. Gosh, good golly. I also have to think of something else there too, just to let you all know. for the sponsor, the monthly sponsors, I got to find a way of getting you guys at least a couple of private streams that I can schedule all throughout the weekend on through the Quite Frankly either YouTube or something. That'd probably be the best thing I can do mobile on the weekend in September that we have the VIP here and elsewhere, where I have a number of things that are scheduled and I just give it to sponsors so that you guys can watch. You can watch me walk through the venue at different times of the night and talk to people and all that stuff and do private stream. I really love to do that. So that might be another reason to become a monthly sponsor if I find ways of giving you guys some exclusive streams from inside of the event, because I don't have any other way to really broadcast except from my palm. Too many other things going on to figure out how to have a comprehensive way of covering that night in a broadcast sense. Definitely for next year for sure, when we have a little bit more experience. But all right, let's see. Hold your calls just for a second. Get them ready. Max Meek says, I do love your show, Frank. Well, I love you, Max. I really do. Thank you so much. Stowstube on quitefranklysuperchat.com says, evening, Frank and Franklies, and a little extra shout out to the one and only Jay Brits, just because. Oh, there they go again. ST says, so sorry, so many misspellings. Oh, hold on. Let me get to the other one then. I wish I knew Diner last episodes of SOP Run Stall. What does that mean? My favorite was Bridgewater Diner, Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, by Verrazano Bridge. ST says, so sorry for so many misspellings, Frank. These super chat entries have a mind of their own. Hope you were able to decipher my previous post. Well, I can see that you are lamenting the diners of the past. That's all I can really tell. And I get you. Stowstube says, Delona says so, Frank. I had to do it if Delona says so. Jeez Louise. And then he just blessed. Oh, well, yeah, we got through there. Thank you so much, Stowstube. And I can't wait to hang out with Stowstube and his wife and others on September. I'm going to throw an arm around each of them and say, look at you guys. You're here. We're here. That's it. And then they go in the boo box. The boo box. Let's see here. Jay Britt says, oh, what up, Stowstube? Now they're talking to each other. Feel like I don't belong. Okay, Tammy says, hi, Frank. Thank you for playing Rufus Du Sol in your intro tonight. They are amazing and have sold out their U.S. shows this summer. Thanks again for putting them on your show. Everyone should know how awesome they are. I wish Lauren and I can go see them. I want to go see Rufus Du Sol. I want to go see... we're talking about non-heavy metal shows. I would love to go see Rufus, and I would love to see Stick Figure. Although I asked my friend Jarrett, who works with the show now on the social media end, I said it because he seems like a pretty hippy dippy guy. I said, Jarrett, do you like Stick Figure? He goes, I listen to real reggae, Frank. I said, oh. Well, anyway, I would like to go see Stick Figure and Rufus Du Sol. If they're on the same bill, then man, that would be. Let me know about that. Road Trip says the key to a happy outlook is gratitude and Keto Brainz. Yes, Keto Brainz helps that happy outlook on things. It really does. It really does. Gets you in the box checking mood. Kobe Shumway says, Frank, will you take $1 from this and slide it into King's Speedo at the Jamboree? I will not. I will not. I can give him the $1, though. Said, hey, this is from Kobe. Be sure to tip your waitress tonight. Well, there's no waitresses, but there are bartenders. It's not an open bar. That's the only thing. So because of that, that's why I brought in Dominic the Ice Cream Man. I talked to him today. I said, listen, so I'm going to bring Dominic the Ice Cream Man, the singing ice cream man. He'll be outside of the venue. I'm going to make sure that there's enough ice cream for almost everybody, because I can't imagine that everybody's going to eat it. And also, I spoke to Sal the Butcher today and Nick the Chef, along with Jay Gulanello, and boy, the beef, you guys are going to be well fed. So I'm trying to make up for the fact that there's, and then of course VIP, who knows I'm going to open up my private stash on VIP. Okay, let's see. Spray. Oh, that's from last night. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Let's see. Percy Block says, from us Rumble slackers. Oh, Percy, you guys are fantastic. I love everybody over here on Rumble. And of course, we're going to jump over to Badlands in a second. Jay Semo says, did NYC ever enact the cooking ban on gas or wood or coal? No, not that I heard. And it wasn't so much. I think it was something that was trying to target future pizzeria. I don't know what the hell it was. And I never heard about it again. Then again, those are things that are floated out there to test the waters, to see what people are willing to accept. And if people take too long to come around to it, then they are just they're forced in one way or another. I don't know. I haven't heard about it again, though. You know who I'd love to hear from again? Art. Remember Art from New York City used to call in all the time? Haven't heard from him in a long time. Captain Cast Iron says, I saw Stick Figure on July 3rd in Tampa. They are amazing. They look like a lot of fun. Looks like really fun shows and a great vibe. I've done quite a few drum tests over there with some Stick Figure, and I have a lot of things I have to buy for those drums now. The last drum test I did last Wednesday was I broke the skin on the kick drum for the V drums, so it's a different kind of skin now, so I have to go find that. Let's see, over on Badlands, wonderful people hanging out and enjoying themselves. Good to see you all. And Valsky says the Democrat City Council chamber where the admission of point-blank murder was admitted naturally has a smoke detector in need of battery charge. Val with the zinger. All right, so let me just do one more of these, and we're going to get into our second half story, which is a little bit creepy, and I want to see what you guys have to bring to the table. Thank you, Sean Joe and Boys Blanc, and Sean Joe again. Boys Blanc says, I didn't want to call in, but in my neck of the woods, the Traverse City area, a trendy gang member was just arrested by ICE. They came for him. Kind of scary, so widespread. Great show tonight. Okay, so there's a little local news that I was asking for. Maybe we can do a local news night another night. Boys Blanc, that's the Northwest Michigan, by the way. Sunday school rank. What's Sunday school rank? What does that mean? Sunday school Frank? Well, Aurora definitely has to get into CCD. She has to get into religious education. She has to have her CCD classes because she's got to receive the sacraments. So that'll be fun. Let's see what else here. Stowstube says, all is great, Jay Brits. Thanks for asking. Be well, brother. They're talking to each other again. Delona, thank you again for the cookie. And Rise Attire, Stick Figure is 100% real reggae. Your hippy dippy boy. Don't know shit. I'll tell him that. We can start a fight on the air one night. Jarrett's good people. Okay, so that's all I have for you on that, and we'll get back to your super chats in just a little. Here is the second half story that's going to take a little bit of a spooky turn because I wanted to do it tonight. We're off tomorrow, so I would have done it on a Friday night. I'm not going to save it until next week because this is a fresh story, and I don't want it to go stale. So here we go. There was a guy, handler, dies. Jailbreak and fire follow. Haunted Annabelle doll sparks new panic. Annabelle, a haunted doll linked to The Conjuring, is at the center of controversy after her handler's death and local disasters during a U.S. paranormal tour. The notorious Annabelle doll, long associated with paranormal legends, is once again making headlines following a series of bizarre and tragic events during its U.S. tour. Dan Rivera, handler of the doll during the Devils on the Run paranormal exhibit, was found dead in his hotel room under mysterious circumstances this week. Rivera, a cult figure in the ghost hunting world, had been touring with Annabelle, a supposedly demon-possessed Raggedy Ann doll made famous by The Conjuring. The tour, which began in May, stopped in New Orleans just days before the fire destroyed the historic Nottoway plantation, and 10 inmates escaped from a nearby jail. You remember that? Rumors quickly swirled that Annabelle had gone missing and may have been connected to the disasters. However, Tony Spera, owner of the Warren Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, refuted these claims. He said, quote, "You know, it's easy for rumors to get started. The fact of the matter is that the doll was never out of our sight, never out of our control," Spera told NBC News this week. "It's in a protective case, and many precautions were taken to make it safe." Paranormal investigator Ryan Buell reported this by posting a video from the museum on May 24th showing Annabelle secured behind him. Despite these reassurances, conspiracy theories and fear have spread rapidly online. Ghost City Tours founder Tim Nealon said, "I didn't realize people were actually taking this seriously." Annabelle's legend traced back to the 1970s when paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren claimed it was used by a demonic entity to manipulate and harm humans. Plans for the doll's future appearances remain uncertain following Rivera's death. Now, I haven't heard anything more about it. I saw some responses and statements put out that, hey, there was nothing mysterious about it. It was natural causes. Anytime you see died suddenly, you say, oh, what? Why? And then you see, oh, died suddenly as he was transporting an infamous demonic possessed doll around the country. You know, somebody's got to do the entertaining, and I know a couple of people in some prominent faces and voices in paranormal these days. Maybe I can bring one of them on one day if I work up the courage to bury old axes. But anyway, let's get to some of our calls on this subject. Now, here's the subject matter that I want to pivot to, since that hotline didn't work out. I don't know why the hell it didn't. Oh, wait, now I see two of King's calls at 740 and 741. So why those popped up now, I don't know. Anyway, here's what I'm asking of you. Do you have any stories of haunted or enchanted objects? Anything like that? Creepy object stories, haunted object stories. I have a few things here. I have 3 voicemails I want to get to. We'll start with Javi in Houston. Let's see here. I don't know if this is a okay, I got it.
You only get 90 seconds to do this, so I'll do my best, brother. Driving from Chicago Heights to Texas in 2002 to move. Stopped at a rest stop like 3 in the morning. Start to fall asleep. I wake up. I have the window covered by my pillow. I could kind of see something standing there, like looking in the window. I kind of just out of the corner of my eye looked over, like, what the hell? And there's this tall, like, white humanoid looking thing. Like it was literally squatting to look into the vehicle. And it just took my fucking breath away, man. I was literally like I gasped, put the car in reverse, got the hell out of there. Like,
Javi sounds like one of the guys who's having his voice changed in one of those old hard copy exposés. Somebody who wants their identities protected. It's actually adding a bigger layer of creepiness to this. So he moved from Chicago, for those of you who are having problems, moved from Chicago to Texas, and during that move, I think he said, is he fell asleep in the car, and when he woke up at one point, there was a white humanoid creature, bipedal, I guess, standing up on 2 legs, but it had to be big enough to where it needed to squat down to look into his car. Now you could say maybe he's in a lowrider. Any of us would have to squat down, but that's crazy. What else does he have here? Hold on.
30 miles later, right outside of Austin, I stopped at the gas station, and this cop was like, "Damn, dude, you look spooked." And I was telling him what I saw, and he didn't even wince. He didn't even wince, bro. He's like, "Yeah, that's the cold capital of Texas, the area you're in." He's like, "And I think you saw the rake." Because I was describing what I saw. He was like, "Yeah, you saw the rake, dude." And then we were literally...
You saw the what? The rake? I don't know why this came in so choppy. What the hell is the rake? Javi, if you're watching right now, you got to call in and give me a couple more just something with a clear voice on this. You told a cop, a cop saw you at a gas station, asked you why you were spooked. You told him what just happened, and he didn't even flinch at it. He just knew. I need to know a little bit more about that. Maybe Javi's out there. He's usually watching live. Let's take a call from who's this? Patrick?
Yes.
Patrick, go ahead. You have any stories about haunted objects?
I got a Ouija board story.
Okay, go ahead.
I grew up back in the 80s, and my parents was out of town. I was having a party at my house, and I had a Ouija board, and we all started playing with it and stuff. Well, we was watching a movie called Witchboard before that, and which is about Ouija boards. But we got the Ouija board out, and we started playing with it. And my mom had one of them touch lamps where it dim, brighter, off. The thing started doing it by itself. We were all freaking out, and it was like, what the hell's going on? So then one of my buddies shows up with his girlfriend, and she's like a National Honor Society chick. She doesn't drink, doesn't do anything. And we was playing with the Ouija board, and she said, well, if this thing is real, tell me the name of the guy that gave me a bracelet when I went to visit my dad. It spelled out like Eric. And she started screaming and crying and went running out of the house. She's like, get me out of here, get me out of here. So yeah, it was a pretty trippy night.
What did you do with the board after that night? Was that one of those things where it like collected dust in the attic, or did you dispose of it?
Yeah, it was in my closet for quite some time after.
Jeez. My, oh my. Yeah, well, I mean, hey, I've never even been in the same room as one, to be honest. And it's probably because I watched The Exorcist so young, and I never wanted anything to do with it.
Yeah, we were like 17 or something. You know, you're young and invincible and all that stuff. But we never had any problems with that light. Prior to that, it was sitting on top of the TV where we was watching the movie Witchboard, and it just started going dim, bright, brighter, off, dim, bright, brighter, off. It just kept cycling.
Yeah. And then it's telling you names of people who shouldn't have known.
Yes.
Yeah, to hell with that.
The guy was clear on the other side of the state or whatever that she went to visit. I guess her parents were divorced or something, and her dad lived on the opposite side of the state. And but she was, Miss Honor Society and everything. She wouldn't. There was no way that it should have happened that way.
Yeah. Well, thankfully you left it behind, Patrick, and thank you for the call.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, Patrick, see, that never happened to me. I saw The Exorcist too young, and it felt too real. And then I watched The Craft in middle school. When The Craft came out, I was in 6th grade. And I've told you guys this story before. I don't know when the last time I did, but maybe you guys felt you had the same thing. Well, after The Craft came out, and you have that scene of who the hell was it? Was it Nev Campbell or Robin Tunney or whoever the hell it was that was floating at the party? They did the light as a feather, stiff as a board thing, where it's just about, everybody wanted to do the stupid light as a feather, stiff as a board thing at every damn party that we got together. Any birthday party, whatever it was, at some point, all the girls were going to end up in a corner somewhere doing light as a feather, stiff as a board, trying to freak themselves out at how they're levitating somebody. And I always thought it was hilarious because obviously it would never work. They're putting just their fingers up and they're just trying to woo-saw somebody off of the ground. And they always had the heaviest chick. There was always the heaviest classmate was in the center of the circle trying to be lifted. The heaviest. Okay, now heavy in the 90s isn't heavy like we have right now, but still a hefty girl laying down in the middle of it all. Everybody's trying to light as a feather, stiff as a board, where it ends up with everybody's just trying to grab her and haul her up. Like, well, what are we doing here? We'd just be snickering in the corner. Like, what are we doing? We need help. They start screaming for help at that point. Like, what do you? Just use your fingers and your magic. That's what she said. Anyway, anybody else do light as a feather, stiff as a board at the parties? It never worked. Ever. It never, ever worked. All right, let's see here. Okay, so here's another one. That's from Javi in Houston. Here's another one from Kathy. Kathy sent this in earlier.
Many years ago, my grandmother, before she passed away, gifted me a snow globe that was also a music box, I guess. Anyway, it was a snow globe of the city, New York City. And it had, on the bottom, you had to turn it over and crank it to get the music to play. And it was difficult to crank. It wasn't easy. You had to really kind of wind it and wind it. Anyway, it hadn't been cranked or played the tune in years. And I mean about 4 or 5. So I hadn't touched it. It was just sitting on a shelf. It was dusted, and that's about it. One night at 4 o'clock in the morning, the thing started playing New York, New York. And I picked it up, went outside, and put it in my car because I didn't want that thing in the house again because it freaked me out.
I'm with you, Kathy. I'm with you. I will say this, though. There is a strange kind of Lazarus syndrome that exists, especially for music boxes and for snow globes. It is weird. Like, there could be something on the inside of those things where it'll just pause. It'll pause for hours. It'll pause for minutes. You turn it upside down. You move it in some way, and something just becomes unjammed, and then it still has some life left in it. If I'm going to offer you any scenario where it wasn't haunting, maybe it just had been stuck for years, and there was just a little bit left of that last wind up. Which I know at 4 o'clock in the morning, you don't want to hear any of that shit. I get it. I get it. Just get it out of the house. And I'm with you. But there is a chance that could just be some whatever. All right, let's take another one. Here's from the Crothers family. Take a listen to this.
This is really cliche, but my friend bought my daughter a Furby for Christmas.
Furby.
And I wasn't going to mess with that thing. So I switched it to off and I put it in a high place in the closet. And a couple nights later, it went off. It was speaking. I didn't sleep that night and I threw it away. My daughter wanted to keep it, but I was like, no, we're not going to play these games. And right now my son has a Labubu, which I'm a little bit scared of.
What the fuck is that? The hell's a Labubu? Labubu. What? Pop art Labubu? What are these? Keychains? What the hell? Get the hell out of here. Hold on a second. Are these all really? Wait. Why do they have these crazy faces, man? Are you kidding me? What the hell what are we talking about here? Open an image. Get out of my house. What the hell am I looking at? Open this image. Why do they look so devious? They're not cute. The hell's going on here? No, man. No. What is it? Why do they all have these fucking toothy grins? I don't know. Get that Labubu out of the house, please. Javi, real quick. What I just listened to your thing. For some reason the audio quality was ass. But could you tell me you got to this this gas station, you're spooked. You were noticed by a cop. He asked you, "Hey man, it looks like you just saw a ghost." You retell the entire thing about sleeping in the car and being gazed at by some kind of a white humanoid bipedal creature that was, I guess, tall. How tall are we talking?
Oh, that's what's funny. I didn't have no little car. I had a 4x4 Ford Escape Sport.
Oh, so
that motherfucker was at least 8-9 feet tall. It was the Rake, brother. It's a demon. Like
Rake.
That's the name of it. The Rake. Yeah.
Rake.
Yeah, I sent you pictures and a little write up on.
Shit. I saw it.
On what you call it.
I see it. Oh, I see it.
Like, different people describe it in different ways, but it's tall and it's like fucking white as fuck with these big ass hands. Right, that's why they call it the Rake. The hands look like rakes.
I get you. No, that's not right. And that's the only time you ever saw that thing, I hope.
Oh my god, brother! But yeah, for like a good 6 months after that, I was just having like horrible nightmares. It was insane. I had to I actually went to like a Mexican witch doctor to give me a cleansing, dude. It was insane. But yeah, that cop was like, "Oh, you saw the Rake?" Like it was not like no big deal. But yeah, like Waco, Texas to Georgetown, Texas. That's considered the cult capital of Texas. A lot of people probably won't agree with that, but like cops in that area, people that live in that area, that's what he told me. And I was just like, holy shit. Yeah, it was just like beyond frightening. I've never seen anything scarier than that shit, dude. And I hope I never see anything like that again.
Well, I hope so too. And thanks for calling in to clarify.
No problem, brother.
All right, take care. Yeah. And you know, speaking of our friend before who called in about the Ouija board, the reason why I didn't go and I never wanted to be in a room where it was being messed with or anything like that. I've probably seen one in person or something like that. But because The Exorcist. Well, the demon in The Exorcist, the actual demon you're dealing with, sounds a lot like Labubu. That's the other thing I was just going to say. Sounds a lot like Labubu. And screw that, Captain Howdy. No thanks. Labubu is going to become a fire starter. I'm not, ugh. But, that's just me. Maybe I'm just on edge with stuff like that. All right, let's see here. Haywood says it takes a real fart smeller to admit killing someone years after getting away with it. Oh, yeah. I know. And to do it in such a way where sit around the fire, kids, let me tell you something about my life. Not like I'm a reformed convict. I took a man's life. I paid the penalty on this earth. And I worked in a certain way to turn myself around. I did my time, whatever. None of that happened. He just, for some reason, thought it was appropriate to tell that story. As if this was like he has a pass. Enough time had gone by and he should be able to express himself. That's just, I really hope that we hear a little more on that, and I hope that it's rectified. All right, let's see. Let's take another call. 907, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Frank?
Hey, who's this?
This is Matt from Alaska.
Matt, what's going on? You're gonna have to talk. You're gonna have to speak up a little bit, my friend.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I got you. I don't know. Just talking on the phone, but so about the Rake thing.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like the second time I've heard this come up recently on. I think someone brought it up on the show, and I remember a guy that I used to know. He would talk about seeing him up like off this road, kind of out of town a little ways, and from what he described is like it was like a massive kind of thing where it's like the spindly white, like I don't know, kind of like on all fours type deal, but I don't know, it's always been one of these cryptids that's rarely brought up, and I just kind of took for him that he was probably doing too many drugs or something, but now that I keep hearing it come up, it makes me kind of wonder.
Well, what I did was as Javi was talking, I went and I did a search, and I've definitely seen it. I've definitely seen it before, and
Oh, yeah?
yeah, I didn't know that was no, not me personally. I've seen it on the internet
right,
before.
right.
I've seen it documented and discussed before, and I'd never really made. I'll never mismatch a name and a cryptid again when it comes to this. I'll now I know, but yeah. I don't know. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people see things when they're high on something or other. But when you start hearing it pop up in different regions from people who are pretty sober minded, it's something else.
Well, and Alaska is a place where we get all kinds of cryptids and things like that. Pretty much everything gets spotted up there in one.
Well, thanks for the call, Matt.
Yeah, and I would say also too, Alaska is one place where there is definitely a lot of cultural preservation. We're kind of like 10 years behind the rest of the country, and everything, be it technology or whatever, but also the bad things like the cultural rot. So like we have a block party every year on the summer solstice. That's awesome, and yeah, I don't know.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I like to hear. I like to hear that there's somewhere. And thanks again. I like to hear that there's somewhere in the country where things are. People are working extra hard, not to create a M. Night Shyamalan, The Village kind of a situation. Which soon we might have to do that. Just create legends about woke mafias that live beyond the trees, the line of trees beyond the cornfields, and we're going to have to just create our own little breakaway society and pretend it's 1998 forever. The Yankees are world champions. Things are going well. I don't know. That's something. Now, as far as all the cryptids go, I mean, I definitely want to talk about manifesting creatures from the internet, because there's enough there too. To talk about. 8:46. Let's keep rolling. Actually, no, I have to go on a really quick break. And when we come back, your calls to end the show. Don't go anywhere, my friends. BRB.
Oh! Landers, looking for something new to grab from your friends at Badlands Media and Rise Attire? Summertime is here. We got you covered. All new tank tops for men and women, featuring new iterations of the Devolution design in black, red, white, and even blue and green digital camo. Sick. We got them for Psywar and Clown World too. How about these bad boys? Psywar, Clown World, and Devolution beach towels to help you spark up a conversation with your new best friend or future spouse at the pool. And by popular demand, we've got all new athletic women's leggings that'll have you red-pilling all the ladies in your Pilates class, whether they like it or not. Too bad. This is Badlands, baby, and we're strapped. Get some and support the new media parallel economy as much as f***ing possible at badlandsmedia.tv/rise.
And other shit like that. And so I naturally, instead of taking every little grievance in my work day and throwing it at you, I try to find fun little ways to inspire a little bit of support of the show, like extra streams on a weekend, maybe a little behind the scenes stuff that we will do tomorrow or so. For even if it's just for a few minutes tomorrow or a few minutes on Saturday, I'll figure something out. I'm determined to bringing Aurora to a firework display tomorrow night, so maybe I'll even go live from the boardwalk for a few minutes. Stuff like that. I think it's fun. And that's and I'm looking forward to it all. So 914-200-0269. We will take a couple more calls as we end the evening. Thank you, Stostube ST just says, I must redeem my previous misspellings. I wish I knew the diner last episode of Sopranos took place. Oh, the diner, the Sopranos, that was not in... that was in Newark. Hold on. The diner, is it gone? Satrial's is gone. A lot of landmarks from the Sopranos have been gone. Diner in Sopranos finale. What was it called? Holston's Brookdale Confectionery in Bloomfield. Holston's Brookdale Confectionery. Holston's. So there you have it. I want one of those. I've always wanted one of those onion rings. He's throwing those onion rings down. One of the last things he ever ate. Tony Soprano. So maybe I'll go down there one day. That'd be nice. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Let's take another call. Let's take a call. 403, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Frank. How you doing?
I'm doing well, cell phone. How have you been?
Good, good. It's been a while since I chatted with you. I think it was earlier this year, if not late last year when I last called in.
Okay.
But Josh the machinist, we talked about what your parents or your father how they influence you.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And now, are you on the speakerphone right now?
Oh, shoot. Yes, sir. Sorry, I was just driving.
Oh, damn. So much better. Oh, wait. You're still driving?
Not anymore. No, I'm just pulling into the driveway.
Okay, good. As long as your hands free and you're safe, you can go back on speakerphone. I wouldn't mind in that respect. But if you're pulling over, then go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Well, I don't know anything that you guys are talking about tonight because I just figured I'd try and call in, and there we go. But I wanted to give a big birthday shout out to the guy who turned me on to this show. His name's Jesse. He's turning 37 this year, or today. And he's just been a great friend and good coworker, and just wanted to say that. And God bless to every one of you listening. And yeah, that's basically it.
Well, you know what? This is a wonderful call. And usually when somebody calls in, they say, well, I got to be honest, I don't know what you're talking about. My heart sinks. I'm just like, oh, gosh. But you know what? I am always so happy when people call in just to say hi and wish everybody well. And the fact that it's a birthday of a person who brought you to the show, it makes it even more special. So I'm happy. And I'm glad that everybody is well out there.
Yep, absolutely. I hope everything's going well with you and your family, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your summer, and I'll call back sometime. Hopefully I'll get in.
Oh, listen, all you got to do is try, and don't wait until the end of summer, man. I mean, if you're watching, just give it a shot. Okay?
All right, well, absolutely. Thanks for answering, and I'll talk to you later.
Take care, brother. And you said James is his name? Jesse James. Jesse, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. There you go. Okay, let's go to 806. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank. This is Razel in Lubbock, Texas.
Yes, welcome back.
Thank you. I hope y'all are fine.
We're all right.
But great. I wanted to tell you I've had an experience with the Ouija board.
Go ahead.
I will never, ever play that thing again. I never got rid of it, but I will never take it out. I was playing with a roommate in Houston when I was living in Houston. I played with a roommate, and this guy's name came on the board, and it was just really spooky and stuff. And I said, well, who is this guy? She evidently had to know. And she goes, oh, well, that guy was killed outside my window. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, he robbed something, and then the police came by, and there was a shootout outside my window. And I was like, oh my God. So I said, okay, well, we'll let that slide. All right, no big deal. And then I moved back into my parents' house, and they were living up here, and I took out the Ouija board, and the kid that I grew up with down the street came down, and he wanted to play, and I'm like, I don't know. And I said, okay, fine. So we took out the board, and that same guy's name came up on the board again. It was like he had taken over the board. As soon as I saw his name, I backed off. I packed that thing up. I put it in the closet and never took it out again.
You see, here's the thing about this that I'm always very curious about, because I've never put my hand. What did they call it again? What's the piece again? What's that called again?
I don't remember. It's an eye or something. It's an oracle. I think oracle or something.
No. It's hold on a second. What is the Ouija board handpiece called? What the hell is it called? The planchette. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've never put my hand on one of those things before. So, when people say, "Oh, well, this name kept coming up. This name kept coming up. This name kept coming up," or something else happened, I always, I struggle between saying, remembering or envisioning the board almost like a magic 8-ball, something coming up to the surface and it just appearing. And then, of course, I keep reminding myself, no, there are people who have their hands on this planchette, and they're supposedly being moved by something. So my question is, when you were sitting there with your friend, and this name is coming up for you, did you feel your friend pushing toward a direction? Was there anything that you could attribute to the people that you were sitting at the table with, or was it really something dragging you both?
It was really something dragging us both. It was undescribable. I had never had that feeling before, but you could feel, and I mean, it was powerful. It took over the board, and it started spelling out stuff, and it went crazy. And neither one of us, and Eva was going so fast, my hand flew off of it, and it was still going. And she was freaking out. I put my hand back on it, to keep her from, freaking out too. But we were both just like, and then when I did it with the kid, the boy down the street, the same thing. It was the exact same thing. And I wasn't doing it. And he said, I thought you were doing it. And I said, no, I thought you were doing it. And it was so bizarre.
Yeah.
Sounds it. And then, oh gosh, there was one more thing y'all were talking about that I had experience with too. I had so many experiences with ghosts and things, more than I realized. And I just remembered it, and then I forgot it again.
Well, it's all right, because
we were talking.
Don't worry, because as the summer drags on and we start getting ourselves deeper into closer to fall, we start just sprinkling this in a little bit more. And you called in exactly with what I was looking for: some haunted objects. And apparently, this thing is still in the house. So take care of that, and we'll talk soon. Okay?
Well, they say you can't get rid of them, or you're not supposed to burn them or whatever. Anyway, but my attitude during the whole thing was, would Parker Brothers hurt you? And then I'm thinking, well, maybe they would.
I guess so. I mean, that it's just one of those things where maybe it wasn't. You're going to have to come up with something else. Thank you for the call. You're going to have to come up with some sort of evidence to show the motive of Parker Brothers to wanting to hurt people. Perhaps it was just one of those things. It would be fun. Give kids a way to talk to the dead. Seriously, hold on. I got to see the original packaging before we end the show tonight, because it's 9:00. Original Ouija board instructions. Let me just see here. Let me see if I can find them. The original Ouija board instructions are essentially to place the planchette on the board, ask a question, and let the planchette move to spell out the answer, either by pointing to letters and numbers or yes to no. While the game it was originally marketed as a game, many believe it can be used to communicate with spirits. There are also various rules and tips surrounding its use, often emphasizing safety precautions and importance of ending sessions properly. I want to know what the hell that is. What's the basic use? 2 or more people place their fingers lightly on the planchette. They ask a question, allow the planchette to move. Planchette will spell out the answer or point to yes or no. What's the game? Additional considerations. It's not a game. While it's marketed as a game, many believe it's a serious tool for contacting spirits. And also, spirits can lie. And be aware of all the... So, I don't know. What do you think Parker Brothers was thinking? That you're just going to give kids a fun little way to contact the dead? or contact something that's disembodied, I should say. Anything to pierce the veil and to allow a 7-year-old to do it. Before we get off, I will add this one last thing, because there is a newborn haunted item in the world. My producer Chris has sent this to me my way, and it is Ada. Ada, a robot artist that has just recently unveiled, when 10 hours ago, this was uploaded on Euronews Culture. An AI artist named Ada made two acid trip Freddy Krueger ass paintings of King Charles and his mother Elizabeth. And if you're telling me that there's not some bad juju that are inside of these paintings, that it was, look at this. Portrait of King Charles and created by Ada Robot. Acid trip Freddy Krueger. What the hell? You want that hanging up in your bathroom?
We're really excited to show a painting by Ada Robot of King Charles III, the first time in history a humanoid has ever painted the king. The way that she's been able to do that is actually the image of King Charles has been sent to Ada. That is then gone onto the computer vision. The algorithm then is able to interrogate that image in a layering process in which she's then able to form the artwork. That's then been expanded and enlarged, so it's a much larger painting, and then finished off by hand.
This guy has a lot of balls just being in the same room as all this shit. Look at his mother. Queen Elizabeth literally has holes in her face. This is an acid trip through, I don't know. I don't know. Well, there you, just a little something for you, because we're talking about haunted items and objects in the second half of tonight's show. Well, there is a newborn haunted item out there. Two of them, actually. These robot paintings of the king and late queen. That's all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for the time tonight. I am looking forward to dropping in on you throughout the weekend in little ways. And then on Monday, the 21st, we have really, from start to finish, great guests throughout the whole week. Starting with Jay Gulanello, Mike King, Miss Rivera. That's going to be a wonderful one. Then we have, of course, a great night with Jay and Tim. So it's going to be good. Really good. And become a sponsor, ladies and gents. Become a sponsor, because even if you can't come to the Jamboree in September, which there's still tickets, and you should definitely do it, because every day, what we check off and what we know is going to be there, it is so worth it. And it's going to be just great to have the camaraderie there. There's everybody in the room you're going to have something in common with in one way or another. Some of you will be wearing thongs, and so will King. That's something in common. But anyway, for those of you who can't show up in one way or another, I'm going to make sure that there are moments of that night, both nights, that are going to be streamed to our monthly sponsors and the people who help us make this really rock and roll on a monthly basis. It's the best I can do to bring everybody in. I'll have better broadcast considerations made next year, but that'll be one of, especially if we do a panel. Any of the times I go out there to shout people out and to bring a little attention to one thing or another, I'll make sure that we do something fun for people and document it properly. So thanks for everything. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be premiering videos throughout the weekend too. So be on the lookout for that. Now, let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Jay Britt says, "You're too good to Frank, Stostube." Stostube's way too good. He's been a good guy. There's many of you out there, though. Thank you, guys. And Michelle Kennington says, "I look forward to your show every day after work." Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. I look forward to coming here every day. And the stress is worth it, because leaving, feeling like, yes, nailed it. And some nights, even when I don't feel like I nailed it, it was just good to hang out. There you go. A companion. Also on Rumble, real quick, there's one more here. Tommy Jekyll says, not going to raise Jay Semo, but I will call. What does that mean? What did Jay Semo do? You need a neep and a heap and other. What does that mean? I don't know what that. They're getting into a bidding war with each other. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much to Badlands. Have a wonderful evening and farewell.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
Goodbye.
All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody.
Will you shut up? Goodbye.
All right, that's it. Thanks, everybody.